Hi, Midland teachers. I hope you're all well. This is Frankie Motto with Compass Learning. I'm going to be showing you a couple of things today. Number one, how to search for content based on standards. And number two, I want to show you what it looks like with with assigning formative assessments and having um, personalized pathways that's automatically generated based on those formative assessment results. So a couple things. First and foremost, thank you so much for choosing Compass Learning for Math. And a lot of the features that you see here are going to mirror the features that are in math. So when you finally get it, you'll be more familiar with it. And number two, this is all in addition to the personalized pathways that are already set by the MAPS results, okay? So some teachers might want to use this to supplement their instruction, which is perfectly fine as well. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is, if I'm a teacher and I want to supplement instruction, the first thing I'm going to want to do is search for content by standard. So I'm clicking on the Content tab, okay? And then I'm going to go to Curriculum Index. And you're going to have to choose Language Arts, okay? And choose the Common Core tab here. And you can choose any grade that you want to. All teachers have access to all the different grade levels. So if you do need to do a little bit of remediation, you can do this here. But I'm going to focus on grade 3. And I'm going to focus on a reading literature standard. But before I do that, I want to show you on the left-hand side here where my cursor is. I just want you, in your grade level, I want you to scroll down and see all the different standards that we support. So everything from reading literature, reading information, reading foundations, and even the new writing Common Core standards, as well as speaking and listening and language. Okay, so I'm going to focus on reading literature 3.3. And under 3.3, here's all the different types of activities here. As a teacher, I can take a look at this activity and see if I want to assign it to my students. Okay, and as I'm checking this out, what I want you to notice is you're going to notice a code here. Okay, and the nice thing is that I can write those on the board, and students can access them through a search button, and I can show you what that looks like. So I'm going to write this one down, RLA 3008. Okay, so if I deem this lesson or this activity as appropriate for my students, I can exit out, write these on the board, or I can manually assign these. It's really up to you. When we do the training, we'll show you how to manually assign them. But for now, just for time's sake, the easiest way is definitely just to jot these codes down up on your whiteboard and have students access them. Okay, so that was the first thing. I invite you all to go into your different grade levels and search for content and see how you can supplement your instruction. Okay, the second thing I wanted to show you was what it looks like when you assign a formative assessment. And based on the results of those formative assessments, here's the beautiful part, is personalized pathways for each student are going to be built based on how they do. Okay, so here I'm choosing my standard set. In this case, I'm going to go Common Core. I'm going to choose my subject. And again, you are not going to have all of these different choices here. For the most part, you're just going to have math or language arts. And I'm going to select my grade level, which is grade level 4. I'm going to click Next. So I want to put this, again, into context. If I'm a teacher and I'm in a particular unit of study, and that unit of study is focusing on like maybe 3 or 4 particular standards, what I'm going to do is I want to assess for those standards. I want to assess for readiness. And if they're not ready for those standards, I would like to remediate. The nice thing is that once students take these formative assessments, it automatically remediates. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to choose Reading Literature 4.1. I'm going to click Next. Okay, and here's the 4 different item types I have within this singular standards-based formative assessment. So I can take a look at the questions, okay, and obviously they'll have to read this and make some choices here. So once I see what the students are going to be saying, what they're going to be answering, I'm going to click next. And I'm going to assign a name to this. I'm just going to name it pretest. You can name it anything that you want to. You also have some options here. You can have multiple sessions on this. You can allow early turn-in if you want to, and you can do a mastery score of anything that you want to. You can set that baseline up to 87% if you want to. Okay, I'm going to click next. And it reminds you of the objective or the standard that's going to be tested. In this case, it's, again, reading literature 4.1, and it has a descriptor right here. I'm going to save it. Okay, and once I have what I want, I have the pretest up there, and then automatically based on that pretest, it's going to assign a pretest learning path. I need to check those boxes off and complete the assignment. And under assignment name here, this is going to be the name of the folder that students are going to access. So I'm going to stay consistent with pretest, okay? And I need to choose my subject, which is language arts. And in this case, I think I was in the 4th grade, okay? I'm going to click next. Oh, and I need to name it something else. So I'm going to go name it pretest 1 because I already have something called a pretest in there. So I'm going to click next. And here's where I can have the choice to assign it to just a few of my students or just some of them. Okay. In this case, I'm going to assign it to everybody, and I'm going to click finish. Okay. And now I'm going to close it out and then sign in as a student. Okay. So I'm going to log out and then log back in as a student. Okay. So grade 4, and then, okay, I'm going to log in. Okay, so now as I'm logging in as a student, automatically I can, there's the pretest folder, and I'm going to take this pretest really quick, and I'm going to get some of them right and some of them wrong. Okay, so I'm going to take the test, and for time's sake, I'm just going to answer them randomly. Okay, and most of these I'm going to be getting wrong. And I have to click the next button and see how they have to read this and then answer the question. Okay, and 4 of 4. So again, this is an assessment based on a single standard. And I'm going to click stop because I've answered all 4 of the questions. And as a student, I can turn it in. And what's going to happen is once I've taken that test, I can click on the learning path folder, and automatically it will remediate for me whatever I need to do. So I have instruction, supported practice, independent practice, and a quiz. Okay, so again, this is in addition to what is already assigned by NWEA. And what students are going to see is this pretest folder if you assign them a pretest, and then kind of like their NWEA folder maybe right next to it. Remember when I said that students can get into any lesson they want to, pretty much, if they had a code? If you notice, I've just clicked on this hourglass at the very right-hand corner. And remember those codes that were on the side when we did a search for content based on standards? Well, I remembered, I wrote down one of the codes, and it was RLA 3008. So again, putting this into context, if I'm a teacher and I wanted to assign a particular activity that's based on a standard, it's really easy for me to type that code up on the board and have students access it. Okay, so those are just